So maybe perhaps a little bit on that upper left side. So that's what the judges are doing right now. They're marking out where those two loads are going to be applied at exactly. All right, so that's Jordan Pugh. He is currently carrying that 1,000-pound load over. So what they're going to do is they're going to put the angle iron on first. And then after they get all of those angle iron bars, they are going to put those sandbags on. And that allows us to get that exact 1,000-pound load. As I said earlier, each angle iron weighs roughly 40 pounds. So from what it looks like that load that's going to be put about 8.5 feet off from the east side or the upper side of the bridge is going to be that 1,000-pound load, and the one more towards the center of the bridge is going to be that 1,500-pound load. And to prevent any damage to the floor, we are actually going to lift the bridge up and put it on wood pads. After last competition, they actually made huge indents in the wood, so it proved pretty beneficial to that S-Delc floor. While they're doing that, I'll go ahead and give you a little bit of a rundown. I'm not sure if Pew touched on it earlier, but for the build, there is kind of two red diagonal lines going through in between, pretty much in the middle of the bridge, and that actually represents the river. So during construction, none of the members are allowed to touch the red tape or any part inside of it unless they drop a nut or a bolt into that river. And if they do actually touch that, I'm not sure exactly what the penalty is, but it increases our time and overall cost for competition. Okay, so I'm actually sorry, I had it backwards. It is actually 8.5 feet from the near side of the bridge, and then that second load is going to be applied at that 13.5 feet, which is closer to the middle of the bridge. So as I said earlier, Brendan Schmidt is in the maroon. He's a junior, soon to be the team president. He will be applying part of the vertical test load. And Jordan Pugh in the gray polo with the green hard hat is a senior member. He is a current team president, and he will be applying part of the vertical load as well. From what it looks like, the 1,500-pound load is going to be applied on the near side of the bridge, and then that 1,000-pound load will be applied more in the central part of the bridge, 13.5 feet away from the near end. And so what differs from this competition from, I guess not last year's, it would have been 2 years ago, is the vertical deflection is actually not measured this year. It is graded on a pass-fail basis. So it's just whether or not our bridge passes, and passing means nothing shears. Our bridge doesn't break, essentially. Yeah. Some of the factors that go into that final bridge cost is the weight, build time. As I said earlier, our build team got a new best at 9:45. Also that pass-fail for both the vertical and the lateral load test. So that side-to-side movement and also the up and down. This is a nationals competition, so in regionals, our bridge did pass. It actually had fairly good deflection vertical, although it didn't go towards our final score. We did actually have quite good deflection, and part of that comes from that overtruss. So the overtruss is built more to keep the deflection down. It does increase the bridge weight, but it's built more for that efficiency in the deflection. All right, and it is officially time to begin the vertical load test. So as I said earlier, Brennan Schmidt, a junior, Ben Diehouse, a senior, and also Jordan Pugh, a senior, will be doing the vertical load test. So Ben Diehouse is in the maroon shirt on the closer side of the bridge. Brendan Schmidt is on that far side by the judges, and Jordan Pugh is in the gray shirt with the green hard hat. And that center weight is going to be the 1,000-pound weight, and the weight more towards the near end of the bridge is actually going to be the 1,500-pound weight, totaling 2,500 pounds, and it is graded on a pass-fail basis. And I touched on it a little bit earlier, but they are actually going to be putting the angle iron on first. So each slab is roughly 40 pounds, and once they get those on, they're going to put the sandbags on top. So what they're doing now is they're going to put buckets underneath where those loads are going to be, and that's just to prevent if the bridge does collapse, it prevents injuries, prevents the bridge from fully collapsing down on those who are putting the loads on those wood slabs. So the load test that we had in regionals was actually flip-flop from what it is right now. It had that same center weight, but the one on the near side was actually put on the far side. It did pass. So in normal competition, when they do actually measure vertical deflection, they put what's called a preload on, and that gives the judges a baseline of what our deflection is before that load is put on, and then they add that load. So the preload should be around 100 pounds on each of the wooden slabs. So those wood slabs together weigh about 20. And then those two angle irons weigh 40 each, coming in right around 100 pounds. But as I said earlier, for this competition, deflection is not being measured. It's graded on a pass-fail basis. Alright, so the test is getting ready to begin. Pew will be handling the angle iron. He'll be giving it to Ben and put it through the bridge and kind of evenly distribute it on that wood panel. Alright, and here comes the first initial load. Alright, so right now they are doing the 1,500 pound load on that near side. So right now they're just talking through where they want, because they have that entire wood panel to put the load, so they're kind of just strategizing where they want to put it. So from the looks of it, they're choosing to spread it out across the entire wood panel instead of applying it more towards the center or on either side of that wood panel. So they're doing 5 angle irons wide and kind of just going up from there till they hit that 1,500 pound mark. And I actually could be mistaken, but they might be doing the vertical deflection measurement for nationals. That might have changed between regionals and nationals. They did take that initial deflection measurement, so I'll let you guys know after the test what the deal is there. So they're a little over 600 pounds in right now on that one. And they're at about a little over 700 for the entire bridge. Like I said earlier, in total the bridge will have 2,500 pounds applied to it at the end of the test. Alright, so they just hit roughly 900 pounds, going on 940 now. and we are nearing the end of that 1,500-pound placement on that near side. Alright, and with this last piece, that concludes the angle iron portion. They are going to go ahead and put the sandbags on top to finish out that 1,500-pound load on the near side. So far so good. The bridge has not failed yet. And with that last sandbag, that concludes the 1,500-pound load, and they will move on to that 1,000-pound load. So right now the bridge is in total has about 1,600 pounds of weight on it. By the end of this load, there will be about 2,500 pounds on the bridge. So for this load, they're doing the same strategy. They're going 5 wide on the angle iron and just stacking up until they run out of the angle iron, and then they will put those sandbags on top of the angle iron. So Pew might have touched on it earlier, but this is actually last year's bridge, but due to COVID, we weren't able to do the competition. They actually canceled it. So this bridge has been 2 years in the making. Took a while to complete it. It was a very tedious process, but in the end, very solid bridge. So they're going to start moving the loads more towards the side with 2 people on it. So noticing it's starting to bow out to the side with Brennan, just the 1 person on it. Very tense moments as we go into the final couple 100 pounds being put on the bridge. Alright, so we've got about 250 to 300 pounds left to put on that bridge. We are inching near that 2,500 pound mark. So far the bridge is held up. And with each piece they put on, they're trying to put it more on the left side of the bridge to prevent any more bowing in the bridge. Alright, so with this last angle iron piece, they are going to move on to the sandbags. After the sandbags are put on, we'll give it a few seconds, possibly measure the end deflection, and take the loads off. Doing their best to evenly distribute that weight across the entire panel. And with that, that concludes the loading for the vertical test. The bridge did pass. So right now, I believe they are measuring the vertical deflection. They got that benchmark measurement before the loads were applied. So right now they're measuring for that aggregate deflection. They went ahead and measured it on both sides of the bridge. Alright, and now they are starting the unloading process. And after they get done unloading, that concludes the vertical test, and I will let you know what the results were for the test. Alright, and so I was correct earlier, so nationals, like regionals, is not taking the vertical deflection into consideration, so it's graded on a pass-fail basis and the bridge did pass, which means we are good. We do have the ability to place in nationals. So right now they're just unloading those. Right now they're doing the 1,000-pound load, and then once done with that, they will start unloading the 1,500-pound load. Like I said, we did pass, which is great. We did get a new best build time at 9 minutes and 45 seconds with no penalties. So our score will go up from regionals. We did do much better. I believe in regionals, our build time was actually right around a minute more, about 10:45. Okay, so I was actually wrong. We did about 2 minutes better, so it was 11:49 at regionals after penalties. But we got 9:45 this time without any penalties, which is great. And it is scored on a dollar basis. So there's a scale where they take weight, they take number of builders, time and stuff like that into consideration, and it gives us that final price of our bridge, and that's how they numerically determine the results for each competition. So in regionals, Missouri S&T placed first, with hopes of doing very well in nationals. This is a great bridge. Our deflection is pretty well this year. So I believe the results come out in roughly a week to 2 weeks. Results will be posted on our Facebook page, as well as our Instagram as well. And they will also post the results on the AISC website as well. And I'm sure it will also be posted on Missouri S&T's website too. So they got the 1,000-pound load off. Right now they're working on the 1,500-pound load. So for those that are wondering, I actually have the deflection here. So originally, the deflection on the near side of the bridge, so from the angle that you guys are watching, the close side, the distance from the ground to the bottom of the rail was 4.19. sorry about that. So that actually wasn't the final results. I'll let you guys know what the deflection was as soon as I get that. The team would like to extend a big thanks to Tom. He is a photographer in the SDELC. He actually helped us set this live stream up. He got 2 different angles set up. He's been doing this all for us. So thank you, Tom. This is great. I hope you guys at home are having a good time watching this. They are nearing the end of unloading the weight. Got Brendan on the other side of the bridge, handing the angle iron to Ben Diehouse. And that is Jordan Pugh, the team president, putting the angle iron on the pallets.